Nutrition coaching is the most amazing job in the world, but there are some things that can drain you and make it really miserable. Which is why in today's video, I want to highlight 3 things that can make you hate nutrition coaching fast. Starting with number 1, taking people from curious to paying. Let me know if this sounds familiar. People are always reaching out to you for health and fitness advice. You're the person that they go to for all the information and what to do. So people are constantly asking you about protein powder and if they should do fasting. Old friends from high school constantly dropping hints about how it's time for them to take care of themselves or time to drop some weight. And you know you could really help these people, so you give them some advice, but it never really goes anywhere. And if you broach the subject of paid coaching, something with like a little bit more structure, they just totally ghost and leave you on red. This can be one of the most frustrating and demotivating things for any nutrition coach, especially if you're just getting started, because you need paying clients to take this to the next level. The main problem here is taking people from curious and interested in working with you and turning them into paying clients. This transition isn't that hard, but you need a strategy that shows people the value in working with you, making it a priority with some sort of deadline, and showing them what's in it for them. And when you can do this, you'll sign up and convert more paying clients, and you'll avoid hating nutrition coaching because it'll no longer be a time-draining hobby. Let's talk more about this conversion. The first thing you need to do is show the value in what you do. This means showing potential clients that you have the path to result. We do this in the Dr. Mark method using a process called the free nutrition report. Remember, nothing is too expensive and people will do crazy things. And if they're not taking the next step with you, it's because they don't see the value in it yet. They have nothing really to compare your coaching against. They're probably thinking, well, why don't I just buy an informational ebook for $40 or buy a supplement for something around that price as well? That's what they're thinking. So you need to have a process in place that allows them to compare the value of coaching to all that other stuff. That's what we do in the free nutrition report. And this is something that we do with all of our potential clients completely free of charge. It works amazingly. It's landed me thousands of nutrition clients, and you can check out exactly how to do that in the first link in the description below. Finish this video and then go back to that first link, check it out, and I'll show you exactly how to take people from curious to paying. Check it out. But the general principle here is you want to show people the value in what you do. You don't want to just give people knowledge. You want to show them that you have a path to results, and you're also building relationships and connection. When you do all this and you continue to stay top of mind by continuing to post about what you do, you'll take people from curious and turn them into paying. But what else will make you hate nutrition coaching fast? Number 2, lack of result. As a nutrition coach for over a decade and someone that's trained hundreds of other coaches, I've been able to put my finger on what drives nutrition coaches. They don't really care about being the smartest coach or the most knowledgeable. And they don't just want a business that makes them money. They want to create a business that changes lives through insane transformations and results. That's what drives them more than anything else. So the fear of not producing results or working with clients that don't really see the value in what they do or don't really get something out of the service is something that they desperately want to avoid. And I know that this actually stops many nutrition coaches from getting started in the first place, because they're afraid it won't work. In my experience, nutrition coaches fail to get their clients results for 2 main reasons. Number 1, they're treating every client differently. And number 2, they're not being prescriptive enough. Let's start with the first one. Every client is being coached differently. When I first started nutrition coaching, I let my clients guide the process too much because I was told that's what I needed to do. As a coach that cares, I needed to be more client-centered. And although I was the expert in training and nutrition, the client was the expert in themselves. So if they didn't want to track what they ate, even though I knew that was going to be the difference maker for them and get them results, I would come up with another approach based on their feedback. But they never got better, and ultimately they would fall off. Instead of sticking to my guns and doing what I knew would work, and this goes for big picture approaches and philosophies, but also week-to-week recommendations. I was giving my clients all the things that they could do, a laundry list of options. And it felt like I was being comprehensive and doing a good job. Plus those emails took a long time to write, so that must have meant I was doing things correctly, right? No, the results suffered because I wasn't being clear enough about what my clients should do. And I needed to be more prescriptive within all the things that my clients could do. And when I didn't, the results suffered. And this doesn't mean that I stopped being client-centered, because I could still get them involved in the solution, but it was my job as the expert to dig into their situation and then present what they needed to do. I was just talking to Coach Shobana, a Dr. Mark Method graduate, about this exact situation. She's had a client that she's been working with for around 4 months that's been having a hard time acting on any of the things that she's been saying. And the results have suffered. The client came to her to lose weight, and although things are moving in the right direction, it's definitely not as good as it could be. So we started reviewing some of her coaching feedback. And it became really clear what she needed to do. She told me, I haven't been prescriptive enough with this client, have I? And this is when I said, well, giving her all the things that she could do to improve her eating habits and activity levels isn't working. It's time to use your expert analysis and tell her what she needs to do. This is what clients hire you for. So how do you start addressing this stuff in your nutrition coaching? Well, for starters, you acknowledge that no two clients are the same, but most are pretty similar, which means you can take a step back and think about all the clients that you work with or all the scenarios that you'll encounter. And you'll probably start to see some trends and that people start to fit into boxes. Not enough protein, overeating and undereating cycles. These are the common situations that you can start to identify and then address. Then you start applying your coaching the same way to every scenario. Then you start to build some repeatability in everything that you're doing in your coaching. You start to do this in your coaching systems as well. You start coaching people in the same way. Weekly check-ins, same method of communication, one way of doing things, one way of coaching. This is how you start to streamline the coaching process and get better results for your client because you know what you're doing each time. It becomes more routine. And the extra benefit of this is since you're improving client outcomes, you're getting them better results, you're going to be attracting new paying clients through referral. Which brings me to my last point. Once you've worked through lack of conversion and lack of results, here's the last thing that'll drain you. And it's number 3, absence of clear boundaries. People get into nutrition coaching because they love helping people. But sometimes their love, or at least their need to help people, can also be their downfall. I know at least it was for me. I had to learn the hard way that burning out as a coach was all my fault and no one else's. And that's because your clients are going to treat you the way you train them to treat you. And if you lack boundaries around what your coaching looks like and the expectations, how much access they get to you, what they're going to expect, or what their role is in this process, it can really drain you. Here's the quickest way to burn out as a nutrition coach. In the effort to provide the best service possible, you tell all of your clients that they can email you or message you 24 hours a day, and you're gonna help them every step of the way. You're gonna change anything that they need, and you're gonna help them troubleshoot anything, big or small. And you do this because you care, but it will ruin you. This ends up taking one of the biggest advantages of nutrition coaching, which is the flexibility and the scalability, and puts you on call all the time. The good news is this is entirely preventable. Here's what I did to fix this and start to set some clear boundaries in my nutrition coaching business. Number 1, emphasize the importance of the weekly check-in. Most of the feedback that you're gonna give and the questions that are going to be asked of you can be addressed during the weekly check-in. So what I started doing was setting clear expectations of my clients about their weekly check-ins at the start of our work together and told them to save anything that didn't need immediate attention for the weekly check-in and their correspondence. Number 2, kept the communication all in one place. I got them to check in the same way every time through a form that was sent directly to my email. And I responded through email as well, and I included a video. And this keeps everything all in one place. It's really common when you first get started to want to reach out to your clients more often through different methods and means. But before you know it, things are everywhere. Direct messages, text messages, phone calls, email, carrier pigeons. You don't know where anything is or where it was discussed. And lastly, number 3, I am the guide, I'm not in the driver's seat. The toughest lesson to learn in nutrition coaching is that the more you do for your clients doesn't help them. The more you do, the more you answer, the more dependent your clients become on you. Provide the structure to foster independence and also allow your clients to make decisions themselves and do things on their own. This is better for them now, but also better for them later. It's also gonna mean that they're going to make the most of their check-ins, which is going to be the best place for you to coach them because you're gonna have all the correct information right in front of you and have time to actually respond and be thoughtful. And remember, they are in the driver's seat, you're just the guide. This also means being careful of the language you use. Without a doubt, remember, you're on their team for sure. But when you're constantly saying things like, here's what we're going to do, instead of here's what you're going to do, your clients may start to think that you're doing the work and you're not. This process is up to them with your help. Set clear boundaries and expectations with your clients on how you'll talk, when you'll talk, and what you'll do for them, and you'll be a great, effective nutrition coach that stays in this game long term. And that's it, folks. Learn how to take people from curious to paying, deliver great results, and set clear boundaries, and you'll be able to be a nutrition coach for years to come. Now, if you're really serious about starting a nutrition coaching business, the next thing I'm gonna have you do is check out this video I've linked up right here. There are 5 main ways that nutrition coaching is happening right now, and I'm gonna teach you all about them in this video. So check it out now, and I'll see you in the next video.